Second grade, welcome back to another grammar lesson. So last time we talked about grammar, we were doing compound subjects. Today, we're going to basically do the same thing, except it's compound predicates. So let's go back a step into what we did last week. I shouldn't say last week, it was this week, but last video or lesson. We combined sentences if the subjects were doing the same thing. So we have two subjects here. We have Amelia? Oh, man. Hey, second grade. Welcome back to another grammar lesson. So last time we were talking about compound subjects. Today we're going to be basically talking about the same thing, but instead of subject, we're going to be talking about the predicate. So compound predicate. Now, I know these words are really big and kind of abstract, which means they might not really mean much to us. The biggest thing that you need to know is that you can combine two sentences together using the word and or using the word but. So last time when we were combining the subjects were different, but they were doing the same thing. Like Amelia likes cats and Tom likes cats. There's Amelia, the subject, and Tom, but they're doing the same thing. So with the word and, you can combine these sentences into one. Amelia and Tom like cats. Now, it's the same thing with predicate, except now we add in but. It kind of depends on what the predicate is, and I'll show you with a few examples. So I have these sentences. I went to Pick and Save, and I went to Target. Now I'm doing the same thing. I'm going somewhere. So I can use the word and to combine these sentences. Think for a second, how do you think you could add and into these two sentences to make it one? Absolutely. Let me see if I can find here we go. Here's my sentence. I went to Pick and Save and Target. All right, now let's see if we can do it with an example where we would have to add the word but in between. Now, this happens if the predicate is different. So, for example, I like dogs, but I do not like snakes. Think for a second, how would you add but into these sentences to make it one? You got it. I like dogs, but not snakes. We talk like this on a normal basis, so it shouldn't be too challenging. It's just kind of like making that observation, like, oh yeah, that is what we do when we want to make one sentence instead of two. And the reason you might be thinking, like, why does it matter? It just makes your writing a little bit more interesting to read when you combined similar sentences together so that you don't have a whole bunch of small, choppy sentences, but nice, longer sentences. All right, so let me go to our assignment. All right, second grade. So in this top box, it's basically just explaining the what I had said before. The most important thing to know is if you want to combine two sentences together, you can use the words and or but. The other thing we've already talked about last time, but I'm just going to mention it quickly, is this section. It says if the subject changes from singular to plural, so that means from one person or thing to two or more people or things, you have to change the verb, which we've already talked about. So like in this first example, Jill runs across the lawn, Mark runs across the lawn. Instead of saying runs in the sentence that combines it, it's going to say run. Because as you listen, you'll hear that it just sounds better. Jill and Mark run across the lawn. Now, this next example is if we're doing compound predicates. So you'll see Billy is in both sentences. Billy liked the game, Billy didn't win it. So in the combined sentence, it says Billy liked the game but didn't win it. All right, so the directions say to combine the two sentences, write the new sentence on the line. We're going to skip one and go down to number 2 because 1 is an example of what we did on our other assignment. 2 says, I find the book, I take it off the shelf. So the subject is the same in both sentences. It is I. Now, let me read it both ways, and you decide. What do you think? Should we add the and in between or the but? I find the book, but take it off the shelf, or I find the book and take it off the shelf. You got it. I find the book and take it off the shelf. So sometimes you might be a little unsure, like, are these predicates the same or different? So you might have to read it both ways and see which one makes the most sense. But other than that, second grade, I think you're ready to go on your way. You have 3 more problems to do all on your own. I hope you have a good rest of your Friday and you enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 70, so I'm super excited to get outside and soak up the sun.